I'm Jasmine Anderson. Accused Gilgo Beach serial killer Rex Heuermann is due back in court today. The Massapequa Park man is expected to make a brief appearance during a conference this morning. The judge is expected to rule on pending requests from various media outlets to record the proceedings. Heuermann has been held without bail since his arrest in the killings of 3 women whose remains were found near Gilgo Beach 13 years ago. Heuermann's estranged wife, Asa Ellerup, will be in court today for the first time. Her attorney tells Newsday his client, who filed for divorce in July, intends to be present for the case moving forward. We will have reporters at court, and we will bring you the latest on the Gilgo killings investigation on Newsday.com. Click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. The Farmingdale School District is once again offering support to its students. It follows a deadly bus crash involving students in Ohio. 6 people were killed and 18 others injured yesterday when a truck rear-ended a bus full of students. The Farmingdale superintendent says the school is now rescheduling its Season of Thanksgiving event. He says the Ohio crash is likely to trigger students and staff. The school is also reopening a counseling center for students and others. Pizzerias on Long Island raised more than $100,000 for the victims of the Farmingdale bus crash. Long Island Pizza Strong presented a check yesterday. The fundraiser's organizer, a father of a student in the marching band, recalls what his son went through.
I said, what are you upset for? Like, why are you upset? Why are you crying? He goes, because we don't see Mrs. P. She was on the bus in front of us, and we see everybody else but her. I'm like, right, maybe she's helping people, Don't worry, maybe she went with somebody in an ambulance, Don't think the worst right away.
Band director Gina Pelletieri and retired teacher Beatrice Ferrari were killed in the September crash upstate. Dozens of band members were also hurt. The surge in mortgage rates is not phasing Long Island home prices. Newsday real estate reporter Jonathan LaMantia breaks down why.
The supply of houses is not adequate for the number of buyers that are looking to buy on Long Island. So there's about 5,000 houses on the market right now in Nassau and Suffolk, and before the pandemic that would have been about 12,000 to 15,000. So it's just really not been sufficient.
October MLS data shows prices are higher than a year ago. So just how high are these numbers?
Nassau County in October, the median home price was $725,000. That's slightly down from September, but it's 7.4% higher than last year. And Suffolk set a new record in October. It's the first time that Suffolk home prices, the median has been $600,000, and the year-over-year change was 9.1%. So even though mortgage rates are really high, in both counties we're seeing some serious price growth.
So is this now considered a seller's or a buyer's market?
So sellers are still in control. Even though mortgage rates have gone up a ton, sellers really still are able to, set their prices. What I'm hearing from realtors is just, don't push the envelope too much. Don't try to, set a new record for your neighborhood, and you'll be in good shape.
Jonathan, thank you. Read more on home prices in your community and what these trends mean for you on Newsday.com. Click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. You can weigh in tonight on the plan to raise your home heating bill. The State Public Service Commission is holding a public hearing on the National Grid's proposed rate hike. It's at the Nassau County Legislative Chamber in Mineola at 6 p.m. If approved, it could cost the average customer about $28 more a month, starting in March. Happening today, the Shinnecock Nation is opening the first tribally owned and licensed cannabis dispensary on Long Island. This is video from the groundbreaking in 2022. Little Beach Harvest is on the tribe's territory on Montauk Highway in Southampton. The Senate is set to take up a bill to avoid a government shutdown. Our Long Island congressmen were split on the plan.
2/3 being in the affirmative, the rules are suspended. The bill is passed, and without objection...
3 of the 4 Long Island representatives voted yesterday to approve a short-term spending bill. It keeps the federal government open past Friday's midnight deadline. Congressman Anthony D'Esposito, Andrew Garbarino, and Nick LaLota voted for the stopgap funding. George Santos was among the 93 Republicans who voted against it. You might have to bring coffee from home tomorrow. Starbucks Union is planning its largest ever strike for Red Cup Day. Thousands of employees at hundreds of stores across the country are planning to walk out for the Red Cup Rebellion. Workers at several Long Island locations are expected to participate. Workers are demanding the coffee giant bargain with baristas over staffing, scheduling, and other issues. The Mets have introduced their new manager, and Carlos Mendoza says nothing is going to surprise him. Tim Healy reports.
Once again, the Mets introduced a new manager on Tuesday at Citi Field. This time it was Carlos Mendoza, formerly the bench coach for Aaron Boone and the Yankees. Now the Mets' fifth manager in 6 seasons, which is a rate of turnover that speaks to the chaos, really, that has surrounded the Mets in the years before and since Steve Cohen bought the team.
We prioritized finding a manager who could not only impact and lead our team in the dugout, but who could help us shape an environment throughout our entire organization as well. And I firmly believe that Carlos has the ability to do that.
I'm getting emotional here. I understand the city of New York. I've been here for the past 6 years, and I know how passionate the fan base is and the expectations that they got here. I am ready for this challenge. I see this as a great opportunity. This is a great opportunity for not only Carlos Mendoza, but for the New York Mets.
Stern said he liked Mendoza because of his abilities to build relationships, his knowledge about baseball, of course. Mendoza is a longtime former minor league player. Mendoza checks a lot of boxes for the Mets. He passed the test on day 1, and now we'll see what happens come spring training and regular season. I'm Tim Healy for NewsdayTV.
Best of luck to Carlos, and thank you, Tim. Read more about Mendoza and the Mets on Newsday.com. Click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. Long Island comedian Kevin James is coming out with a new comedy special. James announced yesterday that his stand-up special, Irregardless, will debut on Prime Video this winter. It's based on his tour, which stopped at the Paramount in Huntington in June. He has another show there on November 26th. Checking out your hyper-local Wednesday weather, mostly sunny today, highs around 50 degrees. Tonight, lows in the 40s, but tomorrow, a big day for us. We warm up just a little bit, sunny with highs around 60 degrees. A look at your 7-day forecast coming up.
Long Island weather is brought to you by Home Tax Saver, PTRC Incorporated.
Helping kids cope with loss, Virginia Huey takes us to Camp Good Mourning in a story you'll see only in Newsday.
Out here in Santa Mauritius, there's only one thing more beautiful than nature's bounty.
Oh, yellow, red.
And that's the sound of children having a ball.
Basically, it's the best camp ever.
This is Camp Good Mourning, Long Island's only sleepaway bereavement camp. It's a camp unlike any other, where each camper has one thing in common, the loss of a loved one.
I don't have a dad.
It's really sad, but we have to get through it together.
10-year-old Madison Rainey and her 9-year-old brother Harrison have been attending Camp Good Mourning every year since their father, Joe Rainey, died 6 years ago.
I was really confused and upset, and I would I wouldn't want to go to school, and I wouldn't want to do a lot of things.
They come to camp with heavy hearts, but while they're here, a sense of camaraderie takes root. Before this weekend, they might not have known any other kids going through the loss of a loved one. Now they know a whole camp full.
Here in Camp Good Mourning, it makes me happy because people get what I'm going through. And we get to talk about my feelings, and it opens my empty heart and fills it up.
The healing comes through play, art, and music therapies mixed with support group sessions to give the children outlets to express their grief.
We give them the opportunity to share their grief story, to explore their feelings.
We are basically here to listen. That's our main purpose, to listen to them, to validate what their feelings are.
Since Camp Good Mourning began in 2018, about 150 children have attended free of charge, thanks to the generosity of donors. For the campers, the benefits are priceless.
We feel connected and we make new friends and we feel better about our loved ones.
The campers leave heartfelt messages for their lost loved ones in a memory garden, and they take away a sense of solace and strength inspired by a camp with compassion. In Santa Mauritius, I'm Virginia Huey for NewsdayTV.
This is going to help so many kids. Read more about Camp Good Mourning on Newsday.com. Click Get More below the NewsdayTV video box. We're seeing a recent surge in homeschooling here on Long Island, and this sort of learning is now going beyond the home. Sherry Einhorn has a story you'll see only in Newsday.
We haven't done multiplication like this before because you do it in your head all the time.
11-year-old Brian Charbo Jr., who's called KJ by his family, is in 5th grade. He says when it comes to school subjects, spelling is at the top of the list, history at the bottom, and math somewhere in the middle.
9, 18, 27.
KJ is homeschooled and always has been.
You get to be with your parents learning at your own pace, and most of the time you might just stay home and do it with your parents, but sometimes you might also get to learn with your friends.
The Charbos say the term homeschool is actually a little misleading because they consider pretty much everywhere a classroom. The local library, their living room, a park, the bank, the fire department. Mom Ashley says this year KJ has to complete 900 hours of schoolwork.
You create an individualized home instruction plan, which we call an IHIP, and in that IHIP you list your quarterly dates that you're going to give your reporting to the district, and you list all the subjects and then information for each subject matter that you're going to teach.
According to state data, about 1,200 children across the island were homeschooled in 2009-2010. But that number jumped to more than 4,600 in 2021-22.
The choice that parents need to think through and think over.
Xiaolei Wang is the dean of the Ruth S. Ammon College of Education and Health Sciences at Adelphi University.
Why it is increased? Pandemic obviously is one of the very important reasons, but there are many other reasons. Children's safety, school violence, peer pressure, and also overall the dissatisfaction with what the school is doing.
The same thing as your 4 time zone. Yep. No, that's right. Now, what works is that I know how he learns.
In Belport, I'm Sherry Einhorn for NewsdayTV.
Read more about homeschooling on Long Island on Newsday.com. Just click Get More below the NewsdayTV video box.
I bring to light issues that are happening in schools, in police departments that matter to Long Island that they didn't know about. This is a story about an issue that they needed to know the answers to.
Newsday, covering Long Island like no one else can.
I'm Jasmine Anderson. Thank you so much for watching. We'll leave you with a look at your hyperlocal 7-day forecast.